Hello guys, welcome to your video recording for today's class. These are just the review problems that you are asked to do in preparation for the quiz you're about to take. This is going to be a quick little video to just kind of go through the problems that you should have done. All of these problems will then be on the quiz, so make sure you pay attention. Hopefully you've got a chance to practice the ones that you really need to work on, and you can see how they should have been worked out. So let's get right to it, and let's look at the first warm-up question here. I'm going to get rid of this first. And let's get at it. So the first one is a compound inequality. I know for sure that this is an and inequality because they have two less than symbols in it, and that is always going to be an and. So the first thing that I would do is to separate this into two inequalities that I have. It is -6 is less than 3x, and then that's plus 6. And then the other one would be that 3x plus 6 is less than or equal to 3. And so now I got to solve each of these individually. My first step is to subtract 6 from each side, so -6 minus 6. That gives me -12 is less than the 3x. Divide by 3, divide by 3. I get x is greater than, remember we read from the variable side, greater than -4. And on the other side, we do the same exact steps. Subtract 6 from both sides, -6 minus 6. That gives me 3x is less than or equal to -3. And then I divide by 3, divide by 3. Got x here. X is less than or equal to -1. So then I go ahead and graph that on the number line. You have one down there for you. I suppose I can scroll down and use it. I have my smallest number is -4, and that is open circle because I have no line underneath. And my largest number is -1. That is a closed circle because I have a line underneath. So I'm going less than -1, so that is this direction, and I'm going greater than -4, so that is going to be connected in the middle. Hopefully you can draw a straighter line than that. So that is our first one. If you're going to now look at this graph and write the inequality, remember x is in the middle, less than symbols. -4 is the smallest, -1 is the largest. This one's filled in, so you have a less than symbol underneath that, or an equal to symbol underneath that. All right, next one. Obviously an or, so we can solve these each individually. Subtract 2 from both sides is the way to start. So we got 4x is less than or equal to -24. Dividing each side by 4, we end up with x is less than or equal to -6. So that's the first one. This one we have to add 4 to both sides, plus 4 plus 4. That gives me the -2x, which is less than, we get -2 out of this. Divide by -2, divide by -2, and I'm putting the emphasis on negative because that means we got to flip the sign, because now we get x is greater than, negative divided by negative is +1. So if I go ahead and graph this, I got -6, that is a filled in circle, and it's less than, so my arrow is going to the left, and I got +1, which is way over here. Open circle, I'm just double checking that I didn't drop it there. Nope, it is an open circle. And then greater than 1, it goes this direction. Now, it is an OR graph. Remember, ORs do not eliminate any answers, so this is your final answer. All right, let's look at some of the other ones. I'm going to have to fast forward here through some of the slides. And all right. So identify the terms and coefficients. Remember, terms are separated by addition and subtraction. And so what that means is that we have 1, 2, 3, 4 terms here. So the terms are -4x, comma, 10y, comma, always add the opposite, that is a -3z, and this is a -8. Now the coefficients, remember, are the numbers that are out front of the variable. So the coefficients are -4, comma, 10, comma, -3. And remember, this doesn't have a coefficient because there is no variable here. So these are the coefficients, and those are the terms of that expression. All right, next one. Kenny went to the store to buy apples and oranges, two different things. He bought A apples at 50 cents a pop and O oranges at 75 cents a crack. write an expression that represents his total bill. Well, I bought two different things, right? So I'm going to add both things together. I know that, okay? And so what am I adding? Well, it's 50 cents per apple. So what is that? 0.5 times A, or you can put 0 there for the 50 cents. 0.5 A. I'm going to add that to what I paid for oranges. Well, that was 0.75 O, which is a horrible variable because it looks like 0, but we get the idea. Doesn't ask me to do anything else. This is the expression for the total cost. In the end, we could use this to determine how much I would pay depending on how many apples and oranges I bought. All right, next example. Company A charges $800 plus $16 per hour. We don't know what they do, this is what they charge. Company B charges $720 per hour, so that's less, or $720, but $21 per hour, which is more hourly. At what number of hours will the charge by both companies be the same? That's key. What would the charge be when they are the same? Write and solve an equation that represents the situation. So, company A, they're going to have a certain cost. No matter what, I'm paying $800, right? And I'm adding to that cost by how much? $16 per hour, so that's 16 times every hour they work. Company B, they're going to charge me $720 no matter what. And I'm adding to that cost how? $21 per hour. And if I want to know when they're the same, whenever I want to know if two similar situations are the same, I got to set them equal to each other. So now I got to solve this for hours. And if I do that, I'll find out how many hours it'll take till it's the same. So this number's smaller, so I'm going to subtract the 16h from both sides first. That'll leave me with 800. Is then equal to the 720 plus 5h. Then I got to subtract 720 from both sides. That'll leave me with, let me give myself some more room, 80. That'll be equal to the 5h. Divide both sides by 5. Divide both sides by 5. And I will end up with, what would that be? 20 hours. Is that right? What do we get here? Oh, my bad. Nope, 16 hours. So H is equal to 16 hours. Now, we want to know what that price will be. So all I got to do is plug this value in for H. And if I plug in that value, it doesn't matter. It'll be the same for each. So I can plug it into this H or that H. If I want to know what the actual cost will be at that amount of hours, it's 720 plus 21 times that 16. And let me just do that real quick. Grabbing my calculator. 16 times 21 is 366 for this, plus 720. So the total cost will be $1,056. So no matter what company you go with, if it's 16 hours, it's $1,056. All right, next problem. Too fast. These are literal equations. Remember, we got to solve for the requested variable, and we have no numerical answer. It's an expression on the other side. So I have to solve for V. Well, when I do that, V is in the denominator right now. So one of the things that I'm going to do is notice that I can put this over 1. And I'm going to make this a little bit more comfortable. I'm going to say I have 1 over D is equal to then V over M. And all I did was flip both fractions, and they're both equivalent. Something we've talked about before. But what that allows me to do is something that I can recognize. I can now multiply out that M on both sides. So that's going to cancel out here. So on the other side, I'm going to get that V that I'm looking for. But now I have M over 1 times 1 over D. So it's just going to be M over D is then equal to V. So that would be my final answer there. This one I got to solve for C. And so I have a P on either side, and C is right here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract this 5P from both sides. That'll leave me with the 9C is equal to negative 4P. And the only thing I have left to do is to divide both sides by 9. Divide by 9. And so I get C is equal to that negative 4P over 9. You could also say C is equal to negative 4/9 P. that would be the same exact thing. All right. I think there's only a couple more questions left here, and then we'll be done for your review. So let's take a look at 6 and 7. So this one is just a straight up inequality. And if we did the warm-up ones correctly, we should be able to do these. So we get to distribute the 3 here. It's going to give us 3x plus 12 is greater than 6x minus 18. And then I got an x on both sides now. So I want to subtract, so I got a positive value. So I'm going to subtract 3x minus 3x. And then it's going to give me a horrible line. 12 is greater than 3x minus 18. So now I add 18 to both sides, plus 18, plus 18. So that is going to give me a total of what? 30 is then greater than 3x. Divide by 3, and I get x, and then from the variable's perspective, right, x is then less than, so x is less than 10. Again, if I wanted to graph that, 10 is here, 11, 9. That would be an open circle, arrow going to the left. Awesome. All right, last problem here. I'm going to extend this a little bit, give more space. All right, so Julia is buying 12 shirts for the drama club. She will choose a style for the blank shirts and then pay an additional charge at $275 per shirt she will have for the club logo. If Julia cannot spend more than $99, how much can she spend on each of the blank shirts? Write an inequality to find the possible shirt cost. So remember, anytime you buy something, it's an inequality. So whatever I do for spending, has to be less than or equal to, I got 99 bucks to spend, this $99, right? Well, so what am I doing to spend? I'm going to be purchasing 12 shirts, but I don't know what that cost is. So I'm going to say it's 12 times some cost, okay? But I'm adding to that, for every shirt that I buy, it's an additional charge of $2.75, but I know I'm buying 12 shirts. So I have to add into this cost 12 shirts times the $2.75 here. So $2.75. Okay, so I just have to simplify the left-hand side and then solve it. So I get 12x. 12 times $2.75 turns out to be 33. And then that's going to be less than or equal to 99. So I just got a two-step equation here, minus 33 from both sides. Two-step inequality, I should say. 12x is then less than or equal to 66. And if I divide by 12 on both sides, I get x is less than or equal to 5.5. So $5.50, that's a dollar sign there, is the most amount of money I can spend on one of the shirts. I can spend $5.50 or less on a t-shirt. All right, so right now you guys are going to take a quiz, so go ahead and clear off your desk. There is no homework today, so after you're done with the quiz, sit back and relax. Make sure you show all of your work. Do not leave anything to chance. And hope you guys have a great weekend. Take care.